Hello, my 420 Spot family. Thank you for joining us. And in the news today, we're diving into what's happening in New York. And wow, it is a true cannabis gold rush. We're talking explosive growth, really ambitious social goals, and of course, the challenges that pop up when you build a brand new billion-dollar industry from the ground up. Let's get right into it. So let's start with a number that'll make your jaw drop. Since kicking off in late 2022, New York's adult-use cannabis market has already pulled in a massive $2.3 billion in sales. I mean, that is a huge economic footprint in what is really a very short amount of time. And that sales number, it's being driven by some seriously rapid expansion. The state just smashed a major milestone, opening its 500th licensed adult-use dispensary. This just goes to show how quickly everything is scaling up, with legal shops now open for business in 51 counties across the state. But this isn't just about sales and storefronts. It's about people. The industry is now supporting an estimated 25,000 jobs. That's a pretty significant boost to the state's economy, creating all kinds of opportunities in cultivation, in retail, and everything in between. But here's where the New York story gets really interesting. This market wasn't just designed to make money. Nope. From the very beginning, it was built with a very specific social mission right at its core. And look, that's not just some nice-sounding marketing talk. This is a direct quote from the state's Chief Equity Officer, Simone Washington. She makes it crystal clear that fairness and trying to correct the past harms of prohibition were literally baked into the system from day one. And the data absolutely backs this up. Out of the nearly 2,000 adult-use licenses they've handed out so far, the majority, a full 56%, have gone to social equity businesses. Now, these are businesses owned by folks from communities that were hit the hardest by the war on drugs. And this mission, well, it extends to the revenue itself. The tax dollars and fees aren't just disappearing into some general fund. They're being specifically set aside. We're talking millions flowing right back into community reinvestment, into grants for new businesses, and even into technical assistance for people applying for licenses. So how do the regulators, the people actually overseeing this massive rollout, feel about the progress? Well, for them, it's not just about moving fast, it's about growing smart, with a real purpose. The acting head of the Office of Cannabis Management, Felicia Reed, she sees every single new dispensary as a win on a few different levels. It's economic growth for sure, but it's also about building up communities, and this is so important, giving consumers a safer, regulated alternative to the illegal market. And this really highlights that double focus. The chair of the Cannabis Control Board, Jessica Garcia, she really drives home the point that each legal shop means customers are getting tested, safe products from operators who've been properly checked out. It's really a public health move just as much as it is a business one. But let's be real, an expansion this fast, this ambitious, it's never going to be perfectly smooth. It is bound to create some pretty significant hurdles along the way. So let's take a look at how the state is handling some of the operational headaches that have popped up during this whole rollout. Okay, so a pretty big issue came to light recently. Over 100 businesses that had already gotten their provisional approvals suddenly found themselves in limbo because of a zoning conflict. Basically, their planned locations are too close to schools or places of worship according to the current law. So how are officials fixing this? Well, after all this uncertainty came up, Governor Hochul announced a plan to push for a change to the law, hoping to create a clear path forward for these businesses that got stuck. And to give these businesses even more breathing room, which is so crucial, regulators also extended the renewal deadline for all provisional licenses to the end of 2026. This is a really clear signal that they want to provide some stability and give these entrepreneurs the time they actually need to get their shops fully licensed and running. So yeah, despite some of these very real challenges, the momentum is still definitely pointing forward. So what does the future look like from the perspective of the people who are right there on the front lines? Let's hear it from the owner of that historic 500th dispensary, Tim Tunavung. I love how he frames his business not just as a store, but as a vessel for giving back to the community. You can just feel the optimism, and it really reflects a wider belief in the future of New York's very unique cannabis experiment. All right, so let's just recap the key takeaways here. First, New York has built a billion-dollar industry in what feels like the blink of an eye. Second, this industry is built on a really unique commitment to social equity.
And third, it's a living, breathing market that is actively adjusting to real-world challenges as they come up.
And all of this leaves us with one final question. New York is trying to do two very difficult things at the exact same time: build a hugely profitable industry while also using it as a tool for social and economic justice. So, if they can get that balance right, could this incredibly ambitious project become the blueprint for the rest of the country? It's definitely a space we'll be watching very, very closely.